Mr. Harris here, and welcome to a new video of Unit 11. In this video, I'm going to talk about how metals they're able to react with dilute acids. Alright, one big point that I want to mention over here is that the dilute acids that is going to be talked about in this unit, there are only two types or two kinds. The first one is dilute hydrochloric acid, and the second one is dilute sulfuric acid. I'm sure you've also heard of dilute nitric acid. However, because dilute nitric acid, it has some alternative kind of reactions with metals. So for the sake of this video, I'm not going to talk about that. We'll be learning that hopefully in Form 5, right around that mark. But for this video, we'll only be talking about mainly dilute hydrochloric acid and dilute sulfuric acid. Alright, so let's look at the first type, when metals react with dilute hydrochloric acid. The metals they react with dilute acids to produce salts and hydrogen gas. So for dilute hydrochloric acid, the word equation looks something like this. You have a metal, you react with dilute hydrochloric acid to get metal chloride and hydrogen. Let's see an example. You have magnesium over here, reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to get magnesium chloride plus hydrogen. So one point over here, because we're using hydrochloric acid, the salt that you get would have chloride in its name. Okay, one more point that I want to raise is that later on, towards the end of this unit, we'll be learning how we could name, first off, how to name the chemical formula, and second, how to make or form a balanced equation. So what do I mean? Say for example over here, we've already learned magnesium. The chemical formula is Mg, all right, plus hydrochloric acid is HCl, and then after you react both of these two reactants, you would get magnesium chloride. So also I've already made a video on how we could name ionic compounds, or how to name or how to get the chemical formula of ionic compounds. So by now you should know magnesium is Mg, chloride is Cl2. Remember, we need to balance out. We've already learned that. And finally you would get hydrogen over here, which is H2. Now, this is actually not a balanced equation. Later on, towards the end of this video, as I mentioned earlier, I'll teach you how to do that. But for now, I need you to know that we'll be doing this towards the end of this video. Okay, now let's look at the second type. Metals reacting with sulfuric acid to get sulfate and hydrogen gas. So this is also a salt. Metal sulfate is also a salt. Let's look at one example. Iron, when it reacts with dilute sulfuric acid, you would get iron 2 sulfate plus hydrogen gas. So again, because we're using sulfuric acid, the salt you get is sulfate. So please do not mix up the names. The salt's name would go or come from the acid. Again, let's try and write down the chemical formula. Iron is Fe. So you should remember, I've already asked you to memorize the chemical formula back when we also did a quiz on this. So you can refer back to the table. I think it is in book 1B. Go back over there and open to that page. Dilute sulfuric acid, this is H2SO4. And then you'll get iron 2 sulfate. Iron 2 sulfate is FeSO4. And you would get plus, okay, the plus is too big, plus hydrogen is H2. Okay, later on I'll also tell you the physical states. We'll be also writing down the physical states. For example, hydrogen is a gas, so I'm going to put a G. Iron 2 sulfate is aqueous, so I'm going to put AQ. The acid is also AQ. Iron, because it is a metal, it is a solid. So let me go back to the previous slide and also write this down. Magnesium is a solid. So you notice that I'm writing it on the right corner. down below, not too big, just big enough for us to see it. This is AQ, acid is aqueous. Magnesium chloride, which is formed, is also aqueous. And finally, hydrogen, because we know it's a gas, it is a G. Okay, later on I'll tell you how do I know which one is a solid, which one is a liquid, aqueous, or gas. But that's not the point of this video. Okay, let's look at the last statement down below over here. Not all metals that are able to react with dilute acids, such as copper, mercury, silver, platinum, gold, they do not react with neither hydrochloric acid nor sulfuric acid. Okay? Again, similar to the ones that we have learned with the reactions of metals with oxygen and water or steam, the ones that are higher above in the metal reactivity series, they're able to react more vigorously. So we can look at the diagram over here. Calcium reacts with the acid more vigorously. Magnesium, it's down below, so it reacts also comparatively quickly, but not as quick as calcium or potassium and sodium. And finally, iron over here, it reacts slowly. Again, you can read the reactivity series on your textbook again. Just one reminder, the ones that are on top of the metal reactivity series, they're more reactive. The ones that are down below, they are less reactive. Okay, so let us summarize what we have learned in this video. So right now we have talked about the reactions of metals with dilute acids. Okay, first off, let us draw a line to separate the metals. So first off, let us draw off right above copper. Okay, you may guess why already. The ones that are down below over here, they have no reaction when they react with dilute acids. And the ones that are above, they react with both hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid. So let us write down the word equations for that. So first off, the metal reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid. So because just to save space, I'm just going to write down the chemical formula. Dilute HCl, you would get a metal chloride plus hydrogen, which is the gas. All right, and the second type, let me use this color, is when metals, they react with dilute sulfuric acid. So again, to save space, I'm going to write H2SO4. You would get a metal sulfate plus hydrogen gas. Okay? All right, one more reminder that I want to mention over here. The first two guys, the first two metals over here, they react explosively. So there is an explosive reaction with the acids, and the ones that are down below, eventually it goes less vigorously down below. So let me write that as well. So for the ones that are here, less vigorous down the series. All right. So please go back and go through all the metal reactions that I've talked about in Unit 11 so far. So part 1, 2 of the videos, how the metals react with oxygen in part 1, part 2, how metals react with water or steam, and now in this video, how metals react with dilute acids. And you'll notice that Some of the metals, they are able to react with oxygen. Some of them are not able to. For example, copper in this case, it is not able to react with dilute acid, but it may be able to react with others reactions. For example, it's able to react with oxygen. All right, so you'll need to differentiate and distinguish this by yourself. Okay, so I'll wrap this up for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.